Hello, everybody, and thank you for being here. I am with my darling Rich Witch friend, Stephanie Hall, and we're actually here to discuss gratitude. And the topic really is going to be between what is the missing link between gratitude and successful manifestation. So I'm Julie Nelson, Rich Witch, artisan botanical perfumer, astrologer, and the proud creator of my first oracle deck, the Fragrant Oracle. And I love mentoring women to help them rise unapologetically. And within that, there is so much more. So today, I want to introduce you to Stephanie. Now, Stephanie is one of my Rich Witch community head witches. She is amazing. She's a psychic. She reads tarot and oracle. And one of my favorite readings that Stephanie does, and I've had a few, are her charm readings. They are amazing. So when we have finished our call, I will be putting links in our YouTube intro so that if you want to connect in with Stephanie, you can, or myself, if you want to book in any readings or just have a chat. Feel free and chat below and ask questions because I'll come back to you. So Stephanie, we're both living in Australia. Stephanie is in Queensland. I'm in New South Wales. And let's start, Stephanie, with what is gratitude? I'm going to hand this over to you because I know that you're very passionate about this and have some really good points to bring up that we can, start this conversation with.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me there. Thank you for inviting me. A pleasure as always. I love there that you value my input there and request it there at times. Thank you. That's a high honour there to be asked to share knowledge and opinions. And I'm here honouring that. Thank you. Now, gratitude. It's an interesting topic there with successful manifestation because the way that we address gratitude there, I think, can be very superficial sometimes. And really what gratitude is that it's acknowledging the good things there that we receive. But not only that it's about acknowledging the way that we receive the good things and how we honour what it is that we accumulate in our life. And how we live well with those things.
Yeah. So let's talk about what the missing, what people like, because we see this in our Rich Witch community, right? And all of us, we're dedicated to our path. We're dedicated to being there for other people, supporting other people. I mean, witchcraft to me is absolutely about honoring all that is and putting myself in that at the top of the list so that we're then able to honor everybody else. And with gratitude, we see a lot that people are feeling they're in gratitude, but they're missing some things, and that's going to be something that we can talk about. And let's get you rolling the ball with this because and then I shall pop in, and if I get too excited, I'm going to really try and hold myself back. I've got a bad habit of jumping in. So yeah,
get in and get excited. This is where people learn things and make their connections.
Yeah. So let's talk about what people are actually missing. And you brought up a really good point before about and I do this myself. So in our challenge, I put, what are 3 things that you are grateful for? And we get a lot of surface stuff, right? And it's a really good point because for me, I automatically think, well, we've got to delve into this, And so some of the words I use are feel into it, visualize it. And what is it? But that's not really, when I think about it, is that giving people enough information? And you put some really good points across in our previous discussion on this. So I'd love for you to share those points.
Yeah, certainly. So what I have come across it, and I've been guilty of doing it myself, is when people are asked what are they grateful for, I see stock standard two types of responses. People will say my spouse or partner, they'll say my children, my friends and other loved ones. And that's great. There you see that people, they really appreciate the loved ones in their life. Or the response might be my family, my home, my pets, or my job. And let's be honest there, if you have a good home life there, I would expect that you would be grateful there for those things. That's not covering new ground. But, and I've been guilty of this too, especially when doing manifesting exercises. I'm like, well, what has that gratitude got to do with my end goal? How is me being grateful for my family, my friends, my home and my job there? How does that help me with what I want to bring into my life there in terms of achieving goals, there of creating new things and moving on to the next part of my life? What does that look like? What does that mean? How does that help?
Yeah, and so let's elaborate on it. So I'll give two examples for me. So I will often say my unicorns, and if people think that I'm crazy talking about unicorns, I have 5 miniature horses, and 2 of them I've had for 19 and a half years, and bred the other 3. And so wherever I go, they go. And I call them my unicorns because they bring so much magic into my life. And so I always say, I'm so grateful for my unicorns. And it's like, yeah, okay. So an example is, well, why am I grateful? When I am not in a good space, or if I'm feeling that my challenges might be a bit too much, the moment I'm with my horses, nothing else in the world matters. They bring me into the present, the here and now. I feel connected. They're very grounding. And all I have to do, is talk to them, sit on the ground with them, and give them a hug. So there is an energetic or an energy transference there that they give me. And so it's like it brings me back into the now. And I'm not sitting in that mindset where I'm ruminating and things are going over and over and over, which is very unhelpful. So that is really powerful for me. They actually, I call them my greatest healers, because they heal me. I allow them, I receive their healing, and they love the attention, especially when I take them food or treats. It's like, yay, my human mum is here and we're going to get something from it. And in return, I get this beautiful energy, because horses are very magical creatures. And my other one is like, so I am very grateful that I'm a mother and I have the most divine woman daughter. And why is that? Again, well, I've always said she's my greatest gift, my greatest teacher, my greatest pleasure, as in, it's just pleasurable to be in her company. So my greatest gift and my greatest love, because as a mum, and I'm such a mummy, like the love for my daughter, there is nothing that could ever compare to that. Love with a partner is a very different kind of love. But what does it give me, or what has it given me? Because she's in her 3rd decade now. I've learned to be more selfless, but also be selfish, because I've had to do a lot of healing because of her life experiences and her condition. So it's like, and discerning when it's okay, like I, when she was younger, just couldn't be around people sometimes because I didn't have the energy. So learning to honor myself. And one of the biggest things, because as a mother, we give to our children. I mean, most parents, I believe, would feel the same as you would lay down your life for them. And it's a pretty big statement, but there is no doubt in my mind. And I think for me too, is that through her physical healing journey and emotional, I've had that same journey. So I've become a better woman. I love the woman I have become through being a mother, through going through very traumatic experiences with my daughter. And it's given me the gratitude for life. To be alive and know that life is short and it can be taken away from us at any given time. And that was kind of something that I had to face with my daughter, and so did she. So the appreciation of life and what life is all about, and for me and for you or anybody else, it will be different. So it's very powerful to delve into, the why and the what.
Absolutely. You did mention something about energy transference. And I found that with the question, what 3 things are you grateful for? Like, to me, they're quite obvious, and they can be good if you need a reset sometimes, because some people can get so far into what it is that they're working on there that they accidentally screen out or don't pay as much attention to what they've got going on around them. And when it comes to things, it's a little bit easier to be grateful for things. But when we say that we're grateful for our spouse, our family, our children, our friends, mentors, what I ask myself is, do they know that I'm grateful for them? How have I shown them that I'm grateful for them? And making myself ask that question and then having to find that answer, it's been very sobering. But then I find there that it puts me into the right headspace there for my why, for why I want to do things, for why I want to achieve certain things and what I hope to gain from that. So it might be there that I want to manifest a growing business there where I'm happy creatively and I'm making a lot of money. And it's like, okay, well, what do I want to do with that money? It's like, oh, well, I want to gift and give back there to the people who support me, and I want to share with other people. So I have started asking myself that, have I shown people that I'm grateful for them lately? And how have I done it? How many times have I done it this week or in the last month? I would assume that they know that I'm grateful for them, but maybe they don't. And I might need to ask them, and I might need to be a bit more proactive about that.
So there's the acknowledgement for one, and then the exchange of energy.
Yes.
Because we need that cycle of receiving and giving, which is going to be another topic that we're talking about, by the way. So, so give us some examples for you, my love.
For demonstrating gratitude?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a few different things there. So I am very lucky to have a group of wonderful people around me who support me. And how I like to demonstrate there that I appreciate them is I see there where I can be of service to them, because that is actually how I demonstrate my love and appreciation for people. I like to do things for them. Like, what are they missing and what can I do to make their lives a bit easier, there to show there that I appreciate them. If I am given some unexpected money, it's like, oh, how do I show my gratitude for that? Do I spend it wisely? Have I invested any of it there? Can I share some of it with other people as well? Am I using that not just for what it's given me for there, but am I actually enjoying it and appreciating that gift that has come to me? And another way I think there that is a good way, well, how I like to express gratitude is to actually just sit there and be. And it's like, I remember this flat, I was manifesting not this exact flat, but what this flat means for me, which is a safe, warm, and secure environment for myself. I was manifesting that. So how do I honor this gift here that I am in? And it's getting right back to basics there for me. And it's just stopping and remembering there that once upon a time I wanted this. So how do I show that I'm grateful for it before I move on to my next goal?
And talk to it to say thank you.
Yes, I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Thank you, house.
and just while I've interrupted you there, because I thought acknowledgement is so big, and it's about saying thank you, and
Yes.
and also again receiving that thank you, because it is very rewarding to support other people, and to be supported.
Yes.
Back to you.
Yes, well, I think what we were going to look at next there is what are some good practices there for showing gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both Julie and I have given some broad examples there, but you know what? How do you receive love from other people? How do you receive things? You know. A good way to show your gratitude for that is in terms of being grateful there for your loved ones. There, do you spend quality time with them? Do you do things for them? Like if you have a spouse there who works very hard there for your lifestyle there, you know, how do you say thanks for that? Do you make their lunch every day with little love notes? You know, do you bring them a cold drink after they've done your yard work? You know, how do you show that gratitude? You know, and it's about keeping things simple. I think sometimes then when we look at things like gratitude, there we can be very surface level about things, but sometimes we dive a little bit too deep as well. And it's about going back to basics and just remembering the importance there and hanging on to that physical link and just being honest and authentic in that little physical link.
Yeah, and something that just came up for me when you were saying that then is because we do something for somebody, and it is always nice, and I think it's important to be acknowledged. And I think there's also a line where it's like, do not have expectations. So I know I've been held to ransom in the past where I have accepted things, but then without realizing this, there's a payoff. So I think that we need to be aware of that. So when we're giving to people, we are, or like, so for example, like being in gratitude, whatever end of it you're on, if you've been the receiver or the giver, is to, as you said, keep it simple. And it's not that anybody owes anybody anything else. That's great, because then we're actually losing that humbleness and that beauty of being in gratitude. Yeah, that's how I feel. So yes, acknowledgement is important. And you know, for me, one of the most beautiful ways you can show gratitude is by honoring it. And what do we mean by honoring it? Well, for example, and this is something that, you know, I've experienced through my life growing up in the generation that I did, was when somebody gave you something, you immediately thought you have to give back just as much, if not better. And that really, because that's what we were taught to do or do not accept, you know, gifts. So you put in how can you be grateful when you're in that era? And thank God, I think, well, not that he can do much anyway, pardon me. thank goodness that I think so many more of us are more awake with that, because somebody gives you something, showing your appreciation and gratitude can be, like picking up the phone and saying, wow, that was a beautiful thing to do, and I feel it's made my day. Or sometimes when I'm reading posts in our community, I'll often say, you're making me chuckle, you're making me smile, because I'm loving the energy and the vibration. And it's not even really directed at me, but I feel gratitude because they're inspiring our community. So it comes in all forms, isn't it? And it's being able to discern.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's you brought up a good point there about your generation too. And for most part there, that is most of mine too. It's the generations coming through there that have a bit more of a natural thought about what gratitude is and should mean. But it's just about finding that balance there between showing your appreciation but not making it transactional. I was explaining there with, if you have a spouse there who does a lot of yard work for you, just the simple act there, if it's your kind of energy, they're making them a cold drink, so that when they stop and have a break, they're giving them a drink there, you're saying thank you. You're not automatically going off and trying to give a reciprocal effort. You're saying, by giving them that hot drink, I see you working hard, it's hot outside, sit down and have this cold drink that I made you. And it's, you don't want to make it too transactional, but at the same time, like, that might be what acknowledgement looks like there. You're saying, I see you, or I hear you, or I feel your intention there, and I appreciate you. Then you can then find that way there to show the same appreciation there for physical items, so that you manifest inanimate objects, gifts of money, that sort of thing. For me, how I like to express gratitude there is, I'll go back to whoever my benefactor is, and I will tell them what impact that gift has had on me a little way down the track. So you say thank you to start off with, but then you come back later and say, you have no idea what opportunity there that gave me, and I really appreciate you for allowing that to happen for me. If someone were to come back to me and say, hey, this little thing that you did for me 6 months ago meant that I could do this and do that, thank you, that's really great. I think, oh wow, that's lovely. And then that means that, and if you yourself there, if you're on the receiving end of something like that, if you sit down and take stock of that, and it's like, yeah, okay, maybe that particular benefactor might be more than happy there to give you some more money in future if you're struggling with something. Or, they might have you in mind that if they come across an opportunity or something like that, and so they will hook you up with it. By that acknowledgement there, you're keeping that channel open there where opportunities and things can come into you. Whereas if you don't say those things, people won't know if that's helpful or not. And likewise there, if you're going into manifesting from the universe there, if you're not showing that acknowledgement or really honoring what that has meant for you, is something like that going to come through again when you need it, or have you closed off that channel? Is that making a bit of sense there for you?
Absolutely. And I've just been taking sort of little keyword notes too. So there was two things. Now you just, see, I've lost it already. But the first one was about journaling. So what we have, like when we do get the gifts or from the universe or from somebody, a lot of people, and I do it myself, I get clients to journal on their gratitude. And what just popped in, because I know I've done it myself and I have to constantly bring myself back, is you can go into that automatic writing, and it's pointless really if you're going to write. I'm so grateful for Stephanie giving me $100 voucher to go and buy some sexy lingerie. I don't know, that just came to my mind. And I'm writing and writing, but what does that mean? You know, does it have the value and the energy? And yes, it's good to write, but be present in your writing. Because sometimes when I'm doing, you know, writing of affirmations, I can tell when I go off track because my writing changes. And it's a trigger for me to come back into the present and focus on, so I'm putting the energy in and out of it. And also, of course, I would say to you, oh my God, you are just so amazing. I am so grateful for that sexy lingerie. Like, you know, it's sort of like, and without feeling compelled that I then have to turn around and give Stephanie $100 voucher because I may have done other things, or somewhere down the track there's that offering. So it's not tit for tat.
Yes.
That
a lot
is
of people will actually come out and say, pay it forward.
Pay it forward. And I love that. And I have practiced that a lot. And I have also encouraged people to do that. So it's like, what can I do for you? Because you've given me this session. I'm going to give a really good example in a minute. And it's like, well, no, I wanted to do that for you, so I don't need anything. My reward is the fact that it's made a difference for you, and I can see you lighting up and smiling, and that in itself is a gift. That's acknowledgement. So sometimes I offer free sessions, or, you know, give people free sessions, for example, because I sense that it's something that will help them. I don't push myself on them. It's, if they want it, it's available. But then they'll come back and say, well, I want to give you one. I have to give you one. And most of the time I say no, because it's, you don't have to do that. And that's where we'll be talking about being and receiving as well in our next conversation. So being mindful and present in your journaling. And there was another point that you brought up. See, and I have forgotten it, but that's okay. We will have many conversations that are going to come up. Do you want to share anything else, Stephanie, on this?
I'm feeling complete. I hope that gives people, you know, more of a prompt there for examining, you know, how they are grateful, or how they can be more grateful, or be in more of a spirit of gratitude there to help them along. Because, you know, like I said, it can be very superficial. Hopefully these points that will help get people onto the path that is right for them in expressing gratitude, because we all feel things differently and we all experience things differently. So I hope that points them in the right direction and really enriches their path there towards their goal setting, their achievements and their manifestations.
Yeah, absolutely. And how people perceive as well is big. And yes, so when you're doing your gratitude practice, give it your full presence, rather than just, you know, it's there. So I am happy that I have a beautiful daughter, and I'm so grateful for my unicorns. Delve into the why, give it a little bit more nourishment is probably the best advice we could give. Yeah. So thank you for being here, Stephanie. I love our conversations. I really do. I think you're a very wise young woman. You are a very magical woman. And if anybody would love to connect and have a reading with Stephanie, I will be putting her contact details in the comments below. And stay tuned for our next call. We're going to be doing beauty. What is beauty? And how we can honor our own beauty. And another one is going to be about receiving. We've got I was about to swear, and I will. So we've got a shitload of topics to cover. So I'm going to say merry meet, merry parts, and merry meet again. You can ask us questions in the comments below. Have a magical day. We're on full moon in Cancer in 2023, January the 7th in Australia right now. All right, much love and
Thank you for having me.
gratitude. Yeah, absolutely. I
you.
love talking with you.
Always a privilege.
For me too. Yeah, for me too. All right, we're going to end there. Ciao, our
Bye.
Witch community. Bye.